you want to work at a bank?
Why not? Some of my best memories are at banks.
You robbed us 3 times.
Duh.
That was this bank?
How are we supposed to get a fresh start if no one will trust us?
I'm keeping my eye on you, Doc.
What was that?
I panicked, okay? I'm a panicker.
The Bad Guys 2. Oh my god, this is my second time recording this. My first one got corrupted. Let's try this again. Yeah, I know there's 2 really huge horror films out right now, but I'll be seeing those soon. In the meantime, I really only had time to see this little number, the newest DreamWorks film that is essentially Furry's Ocean 11, the sequel. So Furry's Ocean's 12, kind of. Look, it's a franchise of heist films with a gang trying to steal an item or thwart a plot. It's pretty simple to get, and this is the sequel to the first film released back in 2022. Check out my review for that up there in the corner. I did like the first film, and I thought it was open enough to explore the characters in a direct sequel, so how did it do? Are the characters just as enjoyable? Did they grow? Is this movie just as funny as the first, or did it have just as much heart? Did Universal commission an official fursuit of Mr. Wolf and then have him as an AI voice in the Waymo app so furries can go even more crazy about this character? Yes, those exist. And to all of those questions, it's an all-around yes. Did I go see this movie just to simp? That one's more of a gray area. I'm not gonna say yes or no to that. I had a good time, but Mr. Wolf or any of the bad guys really aren't my go-to for simping, but whatever. As usual, I may be getting ahead of myself here. So, what is this movie even about? The Bad Guys 2 follows right after the original film. A few years have passed, the group have done their jail time, and they have officially gone good and are exploring their hobbies and looking for decent, honest work. Unfortunately, it is a little hard to get work when you were notorious super thieves who only recently turned over a new leaf. It's a hard call to expect people to believe that you're suddenly a different person now, but that is the least of their problems. When a new super thief appears that seems to be copying the bad guys' calling cards and calling themselves the Phantom Thief because nobody's seen them, the group must band together and work with the chief, now commissioner, to find the real culprits and bring them to justice while also clearing their own names. It's honestly a bit of a classic story there. Thankfully, there are a few fun twists that help to complicate the story, add some nuance, and there are some fun callbacks to the first film, plenty of jokes, and some all-around wonderful cartoony action. Unfortunately, the film does have some detractors as well, mostly being in the plot and the pacing. The film zooms by, feeling like one long car chase, so much so that when the movie slows down for the quieter emotional moments, it feels like the movie just hits the brakes hard and gets stuck for a few minutes in the mud before rocketing back on. It's a bit of a whiplash here and there because of it. I feel like it needed to find a bit more of a golden area for pacing. Maybe if it slowed down just a little bit, the emotional areas would have been able to sit better, but oh well. I also feel like the plot is a big issue because it blatantly jumps the shark, pun intended. The stakes get so unbelievably high for this kind of film that it's hard to really pinpoint where the story can go from here. It's definitely continuing in some capacity. There's a mid-credit scene that pretty much puts this as the new big DreamWorks franchise and confirms The Bad Guys 3. If you've seen the trailers, which I am posting here, then you know at some point in this movie, the bad guys go to space, which, okay, I'm a little annoyed with that because I personally feel like this world could be explored more. I don't think we need to just immediately go to space, but okay. I get that this world is supposed to be a standard version of Earth, kind of, just with random animal people here and there and cartoony laws of physics, but it's still an Earth we recognize. But I feel like there's so much more of it to be seen, and the world very clearly could have some creativity in it. Instead of going to space, why don't we have a globe-trotting adventure that would be able to make fun of other IPs like Indiana Jones or something? Plenty of jokes there. Instead, we're already in space. Second movie, already in space. It took Ice Age, 5 movies to get to space? But okay. Nowhere else to go in the future sequels besides other worlds, so I can tell you where Bad Guys 3 is going to take place. I just find that annoying. There's only so much you can do before you have to go bigger, and they just went too far, too fast. too furious. Not to mention that the villain's plans ultimately make absolutely no sense. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's focus on the good a little bit, starting with the voice cast. As far as I can tell from the credits, the entire cast from the first film is back to reprise their roles. That's great. As usual, Sam Rockwell is a perfect Mr. Wolf. I don't know what it is about him, but his suave demeanor and his way of speaking is just so slimy, yet so perfect for the character. He really feels like a smooth talker that can and will talk his way out of everything, but is also taken off guard and can be emotionally vulnerable. I really like his portrayal here, and since he is arguably the lead character of the group, it does need to be perfect. I don't think anyone else can voice this character as well as he can. The only other Bad Guys member I want to point out is Craig Robinson as Mr. Shark, and just, come on, it's Craig Robinson. He's an inherently funny guy who gets to voice an inherently funny character. The voice just fits. So, come on. The only other person I can see voicing Mr. Shark has to be Ron Funches, and not just because he voices King Shark and Harley Quinn. He and Robinson are just very similar dudes who can pull off characters like these, and I absolutely love to see it. Put them in the same movie together working off each other, I think it'd be amazing. That'd be really funny. From the new cast, there's really only one character voice I want to talk about here, aside from Natasha Lyonne playing a character named Susan. It's Natasha Lyonne. She's done everything now and her voice is iconic, so who cares, get off my back. No, I want to talk about Danielle Brooks as newcomer Kitty. She does a perfect job with this character. Everything from how she's supposed to be a foil to Mr. Wolf, to her anger, to her slick charm and know-it-all attitude. It's great. I love everything about this character. The whole movie could have just been Kitty doing stuff, and I would have been alright with it. It also helps that Brooks just owns this. I've mostly seen her handle live action characters like in Peacemaker or Orange is the New Black, but she nails Kitty's demeanor so well. I want to see her tackle more live action characters with nuance and antagonistic tendencies like this. It works so well and she did such a good job. I want to see it in live action. And yeah, that's the case with most of this movie. It's pretty good all around. Aside from the major downsides I have, this movie is otherwise extremely solid. The voice acting is on point, the animation looks fantastic, the art style is fun, whimsical, and immediately recognizable, even if it does look slightly similar to, say, how Turning Red looks. I love the action here as well. It isn't as interesting and as fun as a couple of the fight scenes in the first film, but this is still a very fun, sizable step up. There are even a couple of really interesting car chases that work ridiculously well. Also, I think the opening scene in this movie is leagues better than any other scene in the first film. It sets up the tone perfectly, and it even includes details and characters that show up later on in the movie. It's just a really good opener. Everything about it is fantastic. I really enjoy it. I do think the movie is only okay in the joke department though. I kind of wish it was funnier. There were only a few jokes that really got a chuckle or a guffaw out of me, and some of those were because of inside jokes, but hey, I still think it's funny enough. One thing I will say is an improvement over the first, joke-wise, is that they toned down the fart jokes. Thank God. The first film had way too many fart jokes because that was Mr. Piranha's thing. And it just wasn't funny then, and it really isn't funny now. And there are still some major jokes and plot lines that use his farts, but it is noticeably less than the first, and it keeps up with the characters at least. I like that it's toned down. I think that might be because this movie very clearly wants to be a bit more adult with its intended audiences. Granted, my audience did have several very young children in attendance. It was kind of annoying, but it's fine. It was obvious that most jokes went over their heads and they didn't quite understand a lot of what was going on screen. It definitely feels like it's trying to be Shrek with some of the jokes and lines. For example, like Mr. Wolf calls someone a jackass at one point early on in the movie, and it isn't played as a joke, he just says it. I don't know, I'd say this movie is slowly starting to to want to age up its audience. Leave the younger kids for Trolls or something. That upcoming Gabby's Dollhouse. I don't know. Is that even a TV show? Anyway, one other issue I have is the lack of backstory for the new characters. Kitty gets a decent backstory told to us that explains a lot about her character and why she's doing what she's doing, but the other girls in the group don't get anything at all. They're just there and following Kitty because, I don't know, there's no reason given. They just are. I think that plot point is supposed to mirror what Miss Spider-Webs went through in the opening scene maybe, but without any other backstory for Susan or Pigtail, their characters just end up feeling incomplete. I want to know more about these characters. I want to know where they came from, how they joined up with Kitty, why they know how to do what they do. I feel those details were either cut for time or are being saved for Bad Guys 3, but who knows? We just don't get them here. The movie was written by Ethan Coen and Yoni Brenner, who have some excellent experience with animated films in the past, so I'm not surprised that the writing here is pretty good by all accounts. It's nothing amazing, and the story is meh, even though I do like how all pretense is thrown out the window and the item being stolen is simply called MacGuffinite. That's hilarious. I love that. I just wish they could have expanded the story a bit more. The director, Pierre Perifel, also did a really decent job with this film. Like I said, all the action feels good, the art style's great, and the overall look is pretty fun. He clearly loves playing with silhouettes and characters in shadow with reflective eyeglasses that build tension. It's kind of anime-esque, but it all looks really good. I feel the film just needed to be expanded upon and toned down slightly. We didn't need to see the bad guys go to space. There are so many other places they could have gone, and the film would have worked out just fine. That's really the only change I would make to improve this film, aside from tightening up the pacing and giving the plot more time to explore the characters, and also ditching the fourth wall breaks. I totally forgot they were in this movie too. They only show up at the very beginning and at the very end, and it doesn't work. There's no cohesion. Mr. Wolf just addresses the audience for no real reason, but because it happened in the first, but whatever. I would have gotten rid of that, but otherwise, everything else you have here is pretty decent. Overall, this movie isn't bad, but it isn't great. It is still a very fun watch with some really fun and interesting characters that clearly is trying to treat its audience as slightly more emotionally mature than the first film. The moral is good, the story is decent enough, and while the jokes are hit or miss, they are still mostly enjoyable. I think you could do a lot worse with plenty of other animated films out there, and the bad guys themselves are just really fun characters. So yeah, I recommend this movie. Go see it if you're interested, although there really is nothing in this film that I'd say you would need to see in theaters. If you don't want to pay to see it, just wait for streaming. You're not missing anything. So ultimately, The Bad Guys 2 gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around for another one. Oh, everything I recorded was lost because I had a power surge. Oh no. And I didn't know until I was putting everything together. And I'm like, why is my vocal track gone? My vocal track's so silent, why? I hate it. But anyway, we're done now. Cool. Hopefully I don't have any more issues, but anyway, I thought this movie was fun. I am gonna go see Weapons and Together pretty soon, I hope. I think I'm seeing Weapons this weekend, maybe Together as well, maybe double feature, who knows? And there's some things that dropped on Shudder that I want to check out too, so I'll probably watch those. I don't really know if there are any more upcoming animated movies. I know Laika just announced their next film, so I'll probably watch that. I don't know, there's a whole bunch of different films coming out and things that are re-releasing and doing all this and that, and I don't even know, but I'll get them done. I will be taking a break later in the month for Megaplex, so if you see me there, say hi, ask me what I'm reviewing next. I probably won't know, but it'll be something. Anyway, what did you guys think about this movie? Did you like it? Did you think it was funny? Did you think it could have been improved in any way? Let me know in the comments below. After that, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a video, and yeah, that's it. Have a great day, and if you're not, have a better one. See ya.
I'm just a ghost lost in your stereo. The fading memory of a shipwreck in the undertow. You're just a lost soul, and I'm just a ghost in your stereo.